Hello, my fellow gaming tankers, and I return to you with the Schwertwal review. Well, this isn't going to be a very substantive review because this isn't that kind of channel. And Petty360, Ricky, they've gone on to a deep dive. But I'm opening up this video with what is probably like an event that occurred with my first or second match. So I was very unfamiliar with this tank. And here you see... this demonstrates that this is not an overpowered tank. But you see, oh no, the enemy FV-107 is broken away and trying to, well, they flanked, taking out my teammates. And I was like, oh, there's an FV-4005 over by the base. I should go help that primo target. And this was where I truly learned, A, never help your teammates. B, this tank is ridiculously slow. C, the player in the FV-4005 was AFK. So there was no double teaming with this FV-107. But this clearly shows that obviously this is not an overpowered tank. Hull armor is trash, and this FV-107 is dominating as the pain that some super heavies will understand when coming up against those little weasel tanks. So, pro tip. Never help your lone teammate. Always stick with the group. Yay, Cold War wolf packing mentality. At least I tried to protect my rear, but my sides are still pennable, and boy I was saying some unkind things about the turret rotation here, and this was the beginning of my disappointment with this, the beginning of the Masters of Mayhem season. Not very Master or Mayhem-like with the Schwertwal. Now, for starters, this was just like released on PC just barely 3 months ago. And it has a top speed on PC with of 39 kilometers per hour. Here, they nerfed it to 35. Which, to me, really said that this was meant for World War II mode. And this match will prove it, because boy, do I think things got a little hectic at Wargaming. Like I said, this isn't going to be your typical, but because, spoilers, at the end of this match, the German flag banner that you would see at the end of a World War II match in a German tank appeared on the PBR. That was in the first week of the update of this new season. I was like, oh. Now, as some of you may know, tiers 8, 9, and 10, some tanks can work with Era 1, and somewhat vice versa, but there's the caveat of Era 1, Era 2, Era 3, Cold War mode are meant to be for post-war tanks. The Schwertwal, although being another napkin paper tank that was just conceived of towards the end of World War II, trying to address needing high firepower tanks while also needing more armor. It was another over-engineered Nazi Wunderweapon. So, this, by all accounts, should be in World War II mode. This should be the tier 10 like it is on PC. Because there's nothing about this that screams Cold War for starters. There's nothing special about it. What I think happened was, in all the chaos of, the changing of the leadership development team to Europe, getting everything set up for the Heavy Metal Fest. Also, things that are cooking for Halloween, things that are cooking for Christmas. I know this because Zipzats was like at the beginning of the year, and one of their first, live streams back after the Christmas break was like, yes, we're kind of already working on the next Christmas season. So, and I think a lot was going on, and just probably like 2 weeks, maybe a week before the season launched, someone took a look at the seasons past they had on paper and was like, there's no Cold War tank. Like, what? What do you mean? There's no Cold War tank in the season pass. Oh, well, we've got the Schwertwal there as part of the ultimate. Let's just make it that. Okay. See, the thing is, like I said, they've already nerfed it to 35 kilometers per hour. 4 kilometers slower than it was on PC. The turret rotation, hull rotation, are garbage. Right off the bat, I was thinking, that alone needs to be buffed. It has 20-second rocket boosts, but that's not, rockets in this game is nothing new. It has good turret armor, but it also has a derpy gun, which leads to my next kind of realization. You know, the knucklehead, whatever, burst gun, boom snout tank they have here. Well, you know what? That kind of got me thinking. It's like, this has like a 16-second reload with my setup. Suddenly had me thinking, like, how many tanks in Cold War Era 1 have like high alpha or high damage output and then a long reload? Because, brother, I started wondering, like, who's next to me on my team? Because I was like, hey, if our reloads sync up, we are screwed. So, but again, back to the knuckle dragger. This is derpy as all hell. You might be able to snipe better than you would with the 5-finger death punch tank, but it's not guaranteed. This is bad actually, just like the other Cold War Era 1 heavy. But it's faster. I was like, man, the playstyle here of brawling up close, very similar. Kind of odd that they would do that with 2 tanks. It just, I was like, oh boy. They got a little distracted with all that's going on, and they like, we gotta have a Cold War tank. I kind of wish that other Swiss tank was the Cold War tank, but whatever. So, well, this is probably not going to be switched over to World War II mode, even though it should be. Because even for 35 kilometers, it's still kind of slow for tier 10s. So, should you get this? Well, if you need a real slow play style, sure. But I was like, man, I'm coming against M103s, the IS-4M, and I'm like, I don't need this tank. I regret buying this thing. It's going to need to be buffed just to be competent in Era 1. But like I said, certainly tier 9 and 10s can work in Era 1, so is it a bad tank? Well, I also struggled with matchmaker issues, so according to the winning team, no, the Schwertwal is not a garbage tank, so it's really good. Yeah, but I think it just accidentally kind of got put in Cold War mode, and it shouldn't be here. But it's here now, and just like the WZ-111-66, it's gonna have to get some little buffs to make it okay. Yeah. So how do you want to play it? Well, like I said, hull down. But don't expect to get to where you want to go quickly. This is an accept your fate tank. As in, you have to pick a direction. And that's the direction you're going to go. The spot you're going to get to is probably going to be the one where you win or where you get sent back to the garage. And like I said earlier, go with your team. Well, Era 1 matchmaking. If your team makes the right choice, which could be, I don't know, if they go to a spot not too far off and decide, well, this is our Alamo, great, you can kind of keep up. But with the rocket boosters, 55 kilometers per hour top speed. I have no speed boost because I wanted to protect this slow monstrosity with as much armor boosting as I could with the 3-skill commander and equipment. And it was like, Speed starts becoming a key in Air 1, especially as, like, most of your heavies, they can do about 45 kilometers per hour or more. Your mediums do 55 kilometers to about 60. I think the Type 773, the Leopard prototype, that can do 70 plus. And then you have light tanks that range from 70, 80, 90 going down. Yeah, it was kind of one of those things of like, screamed even more, this feels so much like World War II. Trying to keep up with my team was very interesting. Because like I said, at 55 kilometers per hour going into straight line because your rocket boost, you could keep up with them. While many of them were still passing you. But once the boost stopped, they just started going away. And then you were left with the slower heavies who started to pass you. So that kind of meant I'm either barely keeping up with the pack, not keeping up at all, constantly moving and chasing, which kind of sucks because if this tank has crap concealment, so once you move at all, you're detected. You fire a shot, you're detected. And that can be very unnerving when the enemy is not directly in front of you. Yes, sides of this thing make... I have very little faith in the armor. From the front, sure. That was... So yes, hull down is great. Don't expose your lower plate, because a lot of the vehicles in this era can pen you. So that's great. And the sizing, they can outmaneuver you. It is a nerve-wracking experience. And then, like, you might want to... I was kind of like, maybe I should focus on getting the, not so much on armor, but on getting my gun so I don't have to sit there and wait for everything to aim in. Because even the aim in, you want to get that shot off quick because, damn it. So many times I got into a position, it was like, there's a target, target's gone, I can now fire because of either reload or aiming in. Not my playstyle. Alright? Let's put it that way. And something that I was begging for, and something that would make this more Air 1 acceptable, because the boosters, big derpy high alpha booms now, that's not new. That's not uncommon. Then I was looking at the turret, and I was like, oh, is that, like, maybe, I don't know, comment down below, is that a 75mm mini cannon next to the main boom snout, like they have on, like, the mouse? I don't know. I see a very short tube and then something like a round projectile-like shaped object in there. We're like, oh, hey, a multi-weapon system would be nice, just to help do something other than sit here and wait for a reload. And as we have with the Shred, we do have a rocket boost multi-weapon system tank already in Cold War mode, so it's like, it's not crazy. I don't think it's gonna be, because they will nerf the living crap out of that little 75mm or 65. I don't know, whatever. They will do something to nerf and be like, all right. It could just be like, hey, here's, because I've looked at some of the other guns, like, or boom snouts at this mode, like 75mm, like, yeah, 100mm of penetration, 105 alpha, sure, yeah, that's fine. Give it a 5-second reload, something. But this doesn't feel like a true Cold War era 1 tank. It doesn't feel like a Cold War tank. It really does feel like a World War II tank that got poorly copied into Cold War mode. And that's where I was like, they didn't intend this originally to be in this mode. It was just, I swear, oops. We copied and pasted this from PC, tweaked it, nerfed it, so it'll work in World War II. Even with the I don't think they did. They could have just literally copy and pasted and not done anything. It would have been fine at tier 10. But now, here, I don't know. It's functional, but it's not a standout. Right now, I would say it's barely worth it, or you could easily pass on this. Because like the WZ-111, even after the buffs, it's really not a great tank. Comment down below what you think. But yeah, this was the beginning of a very unenthusiastic start to the Masters of Mayhem season. Unfortunately, that seems like that trend might just be the theme for this whole season. But I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. Either way, I'm done with this. Hope you keep your tracks on the ground, RNG's in your favor, and see you in the next one. Hopefully a more enjoyable tank. Anyway, goodbye.